Welcome to Punch TV. Today we have lots of great stuff. Craig's going to be talking about movies. Hank's got some stuff to talk about. I'm going to be talking about some guys about some movies. But the biggest thing today, we're going to be talking to Jay about his Strawberry Shortcake collection. Jay.
Hi.
Hey, tell me about the best and coolest Strawberry Shortcake thing you got in your collection.
What I consider to be the best item in my collection is right here. This is a hand-painted card shot of a miniature that came out in 1984, and is the exact one that was photographed for the Kenner Toy catalog.
Holy moly! And you got the Kenner Toy catalog one. I'm like, holy moly. I gotta look at that catalog. That's like a one of. That is impressive. Awesome. We'll talk more with Jay here right away. We are today with Jay, and Jay and I are in his Strawberry Shortcake room. I've actually never seen anything quite like this. When I walked in, I was told, oh, you're going to be flabbergasted, and I was. This is incredible. How long have you been collecting Strawberry Shortcake?
Since the brand launched in 1980. I went from a child who played with Strawberry Shortcake to an adult who collects Strawberry Shortcake.
Now, this looks like the kind of thing that it's overwhelming by the amount of stuff that you've actually collected. This is something that you don't just find in a store. You've done some serious looking and traveling to get these things.
Yeah, a lot of money has gone onto eBay. There were Strawberry Shortcake conventions for quite a number of years that I attended and made contacts there. I've dealt with toy dealers, and more modern stuff I've bought in stores.
When you say Strawberry Shortcake conventions, that kind of just like set me back. Like, why do they not have them anymore?
Well, I was heavily involved in the planning of them, and it got to be more work than we were seeing return for. There was a lack of interest on the brand owners, although this is about to change because the current owner of the brand is interested in doing something for the 40th anniversary next year. So if all goes as planned, there will be a convention in 2020.
Okay, and where do you usually have these conventions?
Most of them were in Cleveland, Ohio, which was where the brand started. One of them, when Hasbro was the licensee, was at Pawtucket at Hasbro headquarters.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about your collections. You've been collecting since you were young. You're still buying things. Now, you have things, I kind of stepped over here for a second. I see you have a lot of stuff here from the 80s that you were actually purchasing in the 80s. And then you have a lot of newer stuff. So where does it start, Jay? Where does this go? There's so much stuff here. It's amazing.
Well, over the years, there was a period where there was no presence with Strawberry Shortcake at retail or in media or anything like that. And then in 2003, it was relaunched in a more modern version. And so I just dove in with both feet, and I've just kept up with it ever since. Every time there's been a new version, I've gone with it. I've bought those toys. I've just kind of gone with the brand as it's evolved.
Okay, so the first thing I noticed when I look at these things, a lot of your stuff's been opened, and some of it's been obviously played with. This is kind of a thing. This is like kind of your world as far as like you're able to take things down and look at them. It's not like a sealed collection by any means.
No, I actually like to play with things. Excuse me. I like to take things out. I like to photograph my collection. I like to set up scenes with things. Like I'll take out the play sets and set up an action scene and photograph that. Like, to me, they're toys. They're meant to be played with.
I disagree. I believe that toys should be left in the box and never played with and never looked at.
Well, you know what? If we were all the same, the world would be boring. So
True enough. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is, like, when you buy these things, they had a smell. Do they still have a smell?
most of them not. That fades over time. Some of the more recent bought stuff still will. There are certain things that retain scent than others, but a lot of them just smell like old toys.
That's the best.
Which is still a good smell.
I think that's the best thing, the old toy, because I love old toy and old comic smells. I think that makes it's retro. It's really like you see it and you own it and you're like, this is something from the past.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I feel the same way. To me, it doesn't matter if it smells like it used to in the 80s. It's an experience having these things.
It is like having these things from the past. All right, so a lot of the stuff then, I don't recognize them. I see things like ponies. Was that something that came out with certain characters in the same box, or was it actually separate?
They were sold separately, but one of the sort of continuities, one of the reboots featured, they called them fillies. They were the Strawberry Land fillies, and each character had a corresponding one. So each of those fillies there matches one of the dolls that came out at the same time.
So when you buy things like this, it's not just single things. You're actually buying like whole sets. They have giant sets of each character.
Oh yeah, there's 5 in this wave, and then they put out a new wave that introduces a new character, and you have to buy all of it, of course.
Yes. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a big Star Wars collector, and I think this is the kind of thing that I see, and it makes me really jealous that you have such a great collection, and it's all really well presented, and I wish that my Star Wars collection was this well presented. I just amazed by your stuff. Thank you very much for chatting today about your stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Hey everybody, I am here with John and Anthony from the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival, coming up November 19th to 24th at the Broadway Theatre.
Yep.
So this year number 10.
Yeah, it's a big year for us.
Number 10, big year. Tell us everything, what's happening?
10th year, we're showing about, I think we have 22 time slots for movies, short films, special guests, all different kinds of stuff. We're basically a genre film festival. So we're showing all kinds of cool horror, sci-fi, martial arts, action, weird,
foreign films.
just a few foreign films, all different kinds of weird stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And speaking of special guests, this year, big news, who's coming?
We have Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins, The Howling, The Burbs, Small Soldiers, as well as Belinda Belaski, who starred in The Howling, Piranha as well, which is one of Joe Dante's films. Yeah, and we're going to be playing a couple of those films on the 23rd. So we have The Howling, what else do we have? The Burbs
And Gremlins.
and Gremlins.
And Gremlins.
Yep.
Which, as it turns out, you shouldn't show tiny little kids.
Well, we're for those movies, well, except for Howling, they're all family friendly. So we actually are going to bring little kids.
It's like, I started showing that to my, she was 5 at the time, and all of a sudden, like, there's a microwave scene, there's some other things going on. I'm like, oh, cover your eyes. I didn't know. Yes.
It's cute at the start for a while, and then it kind of integrates into not being so cute.
Into awesome. A few different things you're doing this year, a few special things.
Yeah, so a couple things we have going on. We're doing our Saturday morning all-you-can-eat cereal cartoon party again. That's like $7, $8, $10, something like that. I don't know. We're still figuring out prices. But it's all-you-can-eat cereal for everyone, kids, adults, and that. It's a curated program of stuff from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Really cool, weird cartoons. On top of that, we're doing something new this year. Well, 2 new things. Where we're bringing in what's called Drunken Cinema.
Nice.
So we go Friday night, Drunken Cinema, to the cartoons in the morning, and I'm going to Hurt. But on Friday night, it's an actual drinking game. It's not just come, sit, drink, watch Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the movie we're doing for it. It's actually, there is a game with competition and cards and teams competing against each other. So it's not the best environment to come and deep dive into a movie, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. And then the other thing we're doing this year that's new, we're trying out VR. So in the afternoons, I believe 4 o'clock till about 5 o'clock each weekday, we're going to have 5, 6, 7 short VR films. We're going to have about 5 units. People can just come in, watch 2 at a time. And then depending on how busy we are, we're going to cycle people through. And we do like competitions on them and stuff like that. So people get to vote and say what the best VR films. And we do that for all the movies and that too.
So throwing on your PJs, having some cereal, all you can eat, the morning after, partying it up, and playing games.
Yep.
And then slapping on some VR to watch some sweet short films.
Yep, totally.
Awesome. So out of all of the films that are coming, I know that some of them haven't been announced yet. Anything you could maybe give us a little...
So some of the real highlights for me, Come to Daddy, Elijah Wood, Stephen McHattie, really dark black comedy about Elijah Wood's a young man who returns to visit his father the first time ever since being a little baby, and gets to the cabin, and Stephen McHattie's the father, and it goes very, very bad places.
Very bad.
Very bad.
which is very good for us.
Yes, it's not a horror movie, but there's more blood and guts and stuff going on in it than most of our horror movies.
Awesome.
One of our closing movies probably is Color Out of Space, the new Nicolas Cage movie based on H.P. Lovecraft's short story that just played at TIFF, and that one's going to... It's Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage on top of an H.P. Lovecraft story.
Nice.
And then the third one I'd probably recommend everyone check out is Jesus Shows You the Way to the Highway. It's an Ethiopian, there's actually about 5 or 6 countries it was filmed in. And it's spy, comedy, weird, trippy, Inception type movie where the best part about it and most interesting part is that when they go into this alternate universe thing, whatever, it's all live action, but it's stop motion live action. In that. So it's really weird, really cool. It has a really fun story. And the main villain in it is a guy who dresses up in a bad Batman suit. So we go all over the board.
Like
year.
a George Clooney Batman suit? Is that what we're talking here?
No, this is worse. This is
okay.
like if you don't have $5 to go buy a Batman suit for Halloween, it's the one you bought for $2.
Nice.
So yeah, it's worse.
So for people to find out everything there is to know about the film festival, where will they go?
They go BroadwayTheater.com, I believe, has quite a bit of the info.
Close.
Close.
BroadwayTheater.ca.
.ca.
And that our own film festival website is skfilmfest.com, and we're on Facebook. If you go on Google, search for Saskatoon and Film Festival, we're up at the top.
You were right there.
Yeah, we're the main one in town.
Well, we're very excited. We're all going to go check this out. So the 19th to the 24th at the Broadway Theater. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, all you punters out there in TV land. My name is Hank, and with me is my hetero life mate, Tony. And we're pretty old, okay? Our ages combined, we are at what? Like at least it starts with a 9 for sure. Like OMG, we're old. So Friday nights, we don't go out clubbing anymore. We don't get our glow sticks and go to the raves like the kids do, I'm sure. We stay at home, we get domestic. You know, I catch the mice, you do the dishes, we do our laundry together. And also on Friday nights, we, actually, what else do we do on Friday nights, Tony?
We watch a lot of television,
Oh, we do. And
music, listen to tunes, listen to music.
And by listening, we also at 6 o'clock on Friday nights.
Oh, we listen to Punch Radio.
Now,
of course.
Punch Radio.
Yes,
On
Punch Radio.
CFCR.
I guess
90.5.
these cool guys got together that do that Punch TV show.
Punch TV.
And they got together, now they're doing radio on CFCR at 6 o'clock. Yeah.
6 o'clock every
Yeah,
Friday.
Every Friday. And it's like this, but it's weekly and it's on the radio. So you don't have to look at
Punch
us.
Radio now with 100% more Kathy and Brennan.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we have the people behind the scenes here, Kathy and Brennan, are actually on the scene and doing some stories as well. So yeah.
So the Punch Radio, what can all the people, the Punch viewers out here, what could they expect from the radio show?
Well, usually Brennan likes to talk about the music. He's kind of the music guy. You still talk about the movies, and I know that Craig talks about the movies. So you guys sometimes do your little thing together.
Some television programs.
Yeah, and then a lot of times Kathy and I will talk about collectibles, and Jody talks about comics. But at the same time, we switch it up. We don't always do the same thing. So it's almost like eclectic.
Right. So out of the 400 episodes we've done now,
Yes.
I think there may be one you didn't talk about Star Wars, right?
There was never. I've always talked about Star Wars.
Try to change it up every once in a while.
As sad as that is, I always talk about Star Wars.
There's always so what
Good.
can people Star Wars? That's what people can
That's
expect.
Star Wars.
Just a lot of Star Wars.
Because we're talking about it now, I'm going to probably not talk about Star Wars
Star
for at least
Wars
one
anymore.
episode.
You gotta
One
change it up.
episode. I'm going to change it up. There was one time I talked about a record. I talked about a record once.
True.
Yeah, so
You did.
that was it, yeah, so.
You did.
I did.
So now that people know about it, if
Yes.
they can't tune in on the Friday nights at 6 o'clock at CFCR 90.5, they could hit the Apple.
Yeah.
They could do the podcasts and check it out. So it's under Punch Radio on the podcast.
Yeah.
And because we've now taken over almost all media,
Yes.
we switched up our handles and stuff now too. Now it's Punch YXE.
Punch YXE.
What is YXE? It's Saskatoon.
Y0. No, I guess that's a Z.
Saskatoon. It's for the airport.
Why?
It's the airport code.
Why xylophone? Okay.
Yeah, Eeyore.
Eeyore.
I
Is that
think
what
it's-
they
I
do?
think
They
it's
do
what they do,
Eeyore?
Alpha Bravo Eeyore.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so all those people out there that don't have the capability of listening to the radio,
the radio.
and they just have that phone, and they can watch or listen to us on the phone.
They could.
Yeah, and they can take pictures of us. This is even better. You take pictures of us and put it on your phone, and then listen to us while looking at us.
You know what? Why don't we look at camera one? We'll do a
Okay.
sweet pose, and then
Okay.
people can just capture that
Which
off
one's
of the screen.
which one's one?
This one is one.
That one's one.
Right
Okay,
here.
cool.
Okay, you
Let's
ready?
go. Let's do it. Screenshot. Awesome.
See right there. That was good. And now
good.
people can have that on their while they listen to us.
That was good. I love it.
Listen to us.
I love it. Punch
No.
Radio and Punch TV are the best things that happen to Saskatoon
Ever.
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 Well, that and that awesome other stuff that happened before us. But
True.
Yeah. But
Now,
now,
because we're running out of time, and we're supposed to do the tweet beat. We didn't put up our arms.
Tweet beat, yep.
Okay. Quickly, what are you watching?
you know what? Tonight I'm going to go home, and after I'm going to watch some Creep Show tonight.
Yes.
And lately, I guess I've been watching some Rockford Files. This is my big thing right now. I'm going back in time and watching the Rockford Files. I bought a box set, has every episode of the Rockford Files, except the movies they put out. But yeah.
So our ages combined, it starts with a 9.
Yes.
And also because of the Rockford Files. Okay, Grandpa.
If there's
stick around.
anybody out there that's never seen the Rockford Files, it is the best TV show that's ever been on. Jim Rockford is the man.
Is the
And
man.
it's like, it's not terribly violent, but it's like always a good story. Always a good story.
Rockford Files, good time for everything you should be watching, reading, listening to, playing. Follow at Hank and Kelsel and Punch YXE. Check us out on the radio.
On the radio?
CFCR or on the Apple Podcasts.
I love doing the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to
And you
look
know
at.
what?
I don't have to look at you.
I love you.
I don't know.
See you next time.
Alrighty. GP.
We beat.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Craig Silliphant here, the Movie Geek, and I have got a special guest, Mitch Oliver, who is also the Associate Director of the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival, the guys you saw earlier in the show, as well as a member of the Dark Bridges team, which we'll talk about in a second. But Mitch is also one of the co-hosts of the Terror Table podcast, which is an amazing horror podcast that's made right out of here in Saskatoon, and they have listeners all over the world. It's really cool. I've been on the show a couple times myself. Those were probably key highlight episodes, I guess. But yeah. But today we are here to talk more specifically about boutique DVDs, and Mitch and I are both obviously collectors, and way more specifically because Mitch and myself to a degree are horror guys, we want to talk about Scream Factory, which is a subset of the Shout Factory line of boutique DVDs. So Mitch, I have a bunch of these, but I know you've got like a million of these things. So
yeah.
What's so special about the Scream Factory Blu-rays?
Well, what I love about them so much is that they're working so hard on restoring all of these classics that you could find in like video stores back in the day when you'd go in and you'd find all the horror. The horror section had the coolest covers and everything. They're restoring all of these movies, giving them new 4K restorations or even just better restorations, giving them fresh artwork. But then on the inside, you can also so they have fresh artwork here, and then on the inside they are doing the classic artwork that you would have seen at the movie store. Also, you'll see Lance Henriksen's autograph there. Sorry, I had to flex on you there.
You can see if you pull it out, you've got your choice of the. Which one's the original? The original artwork.
That's the original artwork, yeah. And then this is the invert.
The invert. So they've commissioned new artwork for it, basically.
Yeah.
I know you and I were talking once about these, and one of the neat things about it is like some of these movies are amazing. You've got The Thing in here, which is I think both our favorite horror movie, but some of them are not so amazing. But the Scream Factory experience is still like fun.
Yeah.
Like it makes the movie like worth watching still, even though the movie's not so great. Can you explain why that is?
Yeah. Well, like for example, there's Tales from the Crypt. Bordello of Blood. This is one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. It's absolutely awful, and I paid full price for it. But the thing that makes it so special is that on the special features, there's a full-length documentary of the making of this movie. And what makes it so interesting is you get to see behind the curtain of why this movie was such a train wreck and why it was so insane and why it didn't work at all, and that it's infinitely more entertaining than the actual movie itself. So sometimes it's totally worth the price tag just for that. And then you got other movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, which was the first movie of Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, and it's an absolutely atrocious movie, but it's a part of cinema history, and I need to have it in my collection.
Right. So the story behind them are often like more interesting than the movie itself. Now, you mentioned price a second ago.
Yeah.
These things are not cheap. Usually, I mean, like a Criterion disc or something, they retail for like 40 to
Yeah.
$60, and I know you've got a good collection of these. So is that your college fund, or how does that?
Yeah, well, I put off college so that I could keep collecting these things. But yeah, for the most part, I think they're pretty reasonable. What I like about Scream Factory is they're really reasonable with their prices. The general price of a brand new DVD or Blu-ray is $25 or something like that. That's what you'll get with these ones. And I'm willing to pay that because they're putting so much care into these movies that you think no one cares about. But there's people like you and I out there who really do care about these things. I think the most expensive one they have out there right now is the Creepshow box set, which we have here. And this one was only, I think, $45, but it comes with like a little comic book on the inside, and there's a whole bunch of making of featurettes on that as well. And the restoration is amazing. You'll never see it look better.
Yeah, that's another great point, actually.
Yeah.
They restore all these in 2 or 4K, and they look great.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite movie that has been released on the Scream Factory format?
Well, The Thing, like you said, is my favorite horror movie of all time, and yours as well. But I have a soft spot for Pumpkinhead,
Right.
which is just, it's a movie that's a part of my childhood. And I just loved seeing, this is the one that got me into collecting all of these, because I know that I can trust a company that's putting this much effort into restoring these movies that I thought no one cared about.
Right. You can buy them like sight unseen, really.
Absolutely.
So we just have a couple seconds left, or half a minute maybe. So I want to talk quickly about Dark Bridges. So there was a film festival started many, many years ago, 10 years ago actually, and it was called the Dark Bridges Film Festival. That eventually became the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival, but now the Dark Bridges brand is back. Can you tell us how and why?
Yeah, so John Allison, who you saw previously, he's our fearless leader. He's been putting on the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival for the last 10 years, and previously he had titled it Dark Bridges, but he changed the name to show that he was going to show more than just horror movies. But like us, he's a huge horror fan, and he's been itching to bring it back, and we've been in contact through our podcast. We became really good friends, and I think he feels that the time is right, and he asked us to come aboard, and we're helping him out, and he's got a lot of really cool things planned, and we've been working together. So we, by the time this comes out, we will have shown Halloween and The Evil Dead at the Broadway Theater, and we plan on doing lots of throwback screenings and just showing classic horror movies throughout the year. And we plan on doing a lot of other cool things in the horror genre around our city. And that's John, I think, he just wants to boost the horror scene in our community. And yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Cool. Well, you can find out more about Dark Bridges and the film festival and stuff online. And you can find the Terror Table, where you find all great podcasts. Mitch, Oliver, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so as a collector, you said that you like to actually play with your toys and photograph your toys, and that's hard to do. So without spending a gajillion dollars on like a fancy camera and a whole bunch of other stuff, how do you photograph your stuff?
Well, it's all done with my phone. All of the photography, all of the editing and everything is done with my phone. And by trial and error, I've taught myself a few things, and I've learned how you can set up a little mini studio for under $10.
Okay, so behind us here, we have the mini studio. Tell us, what are we looking at here?
A couple of pieces of foam core that are from Dollar Tree, and a roll of easel paper from Michael's.
Okay, so right now, we're in the kitchen, and it's, we're casting a little bit of shadow. How do you get rid of it? Do you use Photoshop, or what's the best way to avoid that?
Well, I do two things. First of all, wherever possible, I try to photograph using natural light where there isn't a direct source of light aimed at what I'm taking the picture of, because that minimizes shadow considerably. But in a case like this, where, it's all light from my kitchen, what I would do is I would experiment with turning on which lights I was going to turn on, taking photos with the flash, without the flash, and kind of find the one that worked the best, and then I'll manipulate the photo just a little bit, trying not to change any color or anything like that, but to eliminate shadow.
Well, I've seen your photos, and they do not look like they were taken with just somebody's camera. They're like coffee table book quality. So my next question is, when are we going to see that coffee table book?
Well, actually, it's something I have thought about doing. Publication on demand technology is a wonderful thing, and I have actually thought about doing that. So maybe hearing that, I'll go ahead.
Okay, because, in addition to the mind-boggling awesomeness of your Strawberry Shortcake collection, you have other collections too that are like pretty vast and amazing. Other than Strawberry Shortcake, what are your like, say, top 2 or 3 other collectibles that you love?
My absolute favorite one is a tiny little 80s toy line that was only around for 2 years called Charmkins.
I totally remember them.
Love them. They are so much fun to photograph. And My Little Pony is so much fun to photograph as well.
One thing that I like about some of the photos that I've seen of your collection is that you like take them outside in the garden and like places, and like, you know, when you travel, you take them with you and photograph them. What's the craziest place that you've taken a collectible with you to photograph?
I took a Strawberry Shortcake doll with me who travels everywhere I go on vacation to the New York Historical Society last December and took a picture of her in front of a Harry Potter display.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
They got in love together. Oh, that's amazing. Amazing. Okay, so for a beginner who's getting started, what words of advice do you have for photographing? Like if I want to make a cool Christmas card of like an action figure that I have, what's the best way to get started?
First of all, don't be afraid of your camera on your phone. Learn to play with the settings. If the photograph doesn't turn out well, delete it and take another one. It's the beauty of digital photography. Like, play with your camera settings. You'd be surprised what you can do with it. Also, plain white backdrop is the place to start.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for like sharing your home and sharing your collection and sharing some tips with us and our viewers so that they can get the most out of their collection.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
It really has been fun. Thank you, Jaye.
You're welcome.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Punch TV. It goes by so fast, it's crazy. I want to say a really big thank you to John and to Anthony from the Fantastic Film Festival. Really, really looking forward to that. And to Mitch for coming and talking about the newly revamped Dark Bridges Festival and, of course, his amazing collection of horror. And to Jaye and his incredible collection of Strawberry Shortcake. I'm like, my mind is still reeling. I'm still like hyperventilating. It was such a treat to be in that room, so full of love, and to have him share his passion for collecting with us was really, really special. So thank you, Jaye, and thank you to our cast and our crew. Thanks to Brennan for coming aboard and being our new cameraman, and thanks to you for watching. So in the meantime, you know what to do. Keep your dukes up.